The community of Robstown is speaking out after last night's tragic shooting that left 5 people dead at 2 different locations, including the gunman. Take a look at this map. The first shooting happened at a home next to Starry Pawn Shop on Highway 44, where 2 people were found shot and killed. The second one happened down the road at the Robstown Nursing Rehabilitation Center on East Avenue J. That's where police say the gunman shot and killed 2 people before turning the gun on himself. And tonight we're hearing from those in the community, many saying the family at the center of the incident was well known and loved. Our Madeline Dart shares their reaction in tonight's top story.
And Michelle, Robstown residents are still very shaken up this Saturday evening. They say they never expected such a tragedy in their small town. And the youngest victim in the shooting was just 13 years old. Yellow tape still surrounds the house where 2 bodies were found on Friday night. Officials identifying them as a 40-year-old man and a 13-year-old boy.
Very heartbroken.
Authorities believe after shooting the 2 men, 60-year-old Richard Starry made his way to the Retama Nursing Center, where he shot and killed his father, 85-year-old Ernest Starry, and his stepmother, Thelma Montalvo, then turning the gun on himself. The shooting devastating residents like Robert Ortivone.
It was a very, very, very tragic accident we had here, especially in a nursing home.
Rick Malik says the Starry family owned a pawn shop off Highway 44, next to the house where the 40 and 13-year-old victims were found. Authorities say they belong to Thelma Montalvo.
I was very surprised. Everybody seems to be talking about it.
Rex Keister says it's a tragedy which has left an entire family heartbroken, causing a ripple effect throughout his beloved town.
I was shocked to hear that a murder of that caliber took place. Robstown is a good little town and has a lot going for it.
During a press conference, authorities said they are still searching for what drove Richard Starry to kill his own family members.
Just a shock. It's a shocking deal for that many people to be shot at one time.
And right now, authorities are not releasing the identities of that 40-year-old man and the 13-year-old boy. We will keep you updated as the details come. Michelle.
All right, thanks a lot, Maddie. And we're learning about the medium-sized nursing home involved in that shooting. The Nursing and Rehabilitation Center in Robstown for Senior Retirement Care Community has been operating for a number of years there. The city says that the center was on lockdown during the investigation, not allowing anybody in or out of the building, and that residents who were not evacuated were secured in their rooms. They add that later on in the evening, people were allowed to go back in. The facility currently houses about 94 beds. And during the press conference today, State Representative Abel Adedo said that the city is